All right, so let's start with you. First, if you want to introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are and about your show that's coming up here in Indy.
Okay, hey y'all, it's Dallas Moore, and super excited to be returning to Indianapolis, Indiana, to the five-star dive bar Checkered Flag Tavern for our New Year's Eve show. We're going to be out with the old, new with the new, and counting it down. It's going to be a free show on New Year's Eve, and Checker Flag is one of our favorite places. Whenever I play, whenever we're making tour stops through Indy, I always do my solo acoustic shows there. And Stacy and Leanne Sneed, who own the Checker Flag, are some of my best friends, and they traveled all around the country, seeing our shows, and they've always gave us a place to call our honky tonk home in Indy. So looking forward to New Year's, bringing in a new year with everybody at the five-star dive bar.
Nice, and they do a real big party and stuff there, right?
Yeah, and it's a free show for New Year's. Just about everything that we play nowadays is a ticketed show, but Stacy and Leanne have always done a great job of making the shows free, and they have a great menu. That's why it's called the Five-Star Dive Bar.
I heard.
Stacy is just an incredible chef, and so we'll have some good eats and all the booze you can use, and a good time.
Nice. And you have been playing honky tonk and uh, around the country scene for many years, right?
Yeah, quite a long time. Yeah.
So, what brought you to music all those years ago?
Well, I got my first guitar when I was 16 years old. My mama, Major Lee, was a very prominent Appalachian bluegrass and gospel artist, and she got me my first guitar when I was 16 years old. And up till that point, I played sports. I played baseball and football, and I boxed a little bit, and she got me that guitar and ruined my life. That's all I've ever did since. That was many moons ago.
And you actually have played with some pretty huge names in country music, haven't you?
Oh yeah. Over the years, I've been blessed to do a lot of shows with my heroes and champions and friends, and still getting to do quite a bit of that. So it's been pretty good.
Do you have a favorite person that you've collabed with over the years?
You learn something from everybody. I was lucky enough to do shows with Willie Nelson and Waylon Jennings and Merle Haggard and George Jones and all my Southern rock heroes. We got to do shows with the Allman Brothers Band, and Leonard Skinner, and the Marshall Tucker Band. I toured for years with David Allan Coe, and we're still doing things. Currently, I just played some shows with my great friend Ray Wiley Hubbard, and we have some more stuff coming up with Ray next year. And Dean Dillon, who's one of my songwriting heroes, and just so, there's a ton of them. I know I'm leaving stuff out. Billy Joe Shaver, of course, was great.
I
Um,
remember them all.
yeah. But I believe this year will be the 14th year that when I play New Year's Eve at the Checker Flag. I think it'll be the 14th year that I will have performed over 300 nights on tour nationwide, either solo or full band. So um, we've been doing it a while and keeping the roads hot.
Do you have a favorite song that you like to perform?
Well, my favorite song of all time, and I do always include this in at the end of my shows every night, is a song that Billy Joe Shaver wrote. It's not even one of my songs, but it's a song called "Live Forever" that Billy Joe Shaver wrote, and that's my favorite song. We always include that at the end of our shows when we're saying adios amigos.
I think I like the one where you sing about belladonna.
Yeah, smoking belladonna and drinking gasoline. That's off
It
my
got stuck in
new.
my head last year when I interviewed you for the first.
Yeah, that'll work out okay. Smoke them if you got
I mean, it's
them.
Carolyn. I can't talk about. No, I'm just kidding.
There
Like,
you go.
so, what is in store for you? Like, what's next? Are you gonna be coming out with any new albums or?
Well, as of right now, my current album is Gems and Jams. and that was released in August of this year. And that's my 18th album since 1996, and it's my first solo acoustic album. Where it's just me and my old guitar, and 15 songs that I wrote with no overdubs or post production or trickery or anything. It's just as raw and real as it gets. And so I'm touring in support of that right now. And then the next project will be the next full band album, and I've been writing stuff for that and getting my songs together for that. And at some point in 2025, we'll hit the studio and knock out number 19.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
Coming back, I recently interviewed Jesse Dayton. I'm not sure if
yeah, yeah. I know Jesse very well.
because Waylon and Shooter,
Yeah,
and he was telling me how when him and Shooter were doing the last album, they made a point to really do it the old way and to not do they all got together and they recorded it all at the same time and they didn't
right.
put the tracks, and I think that's awesome. I think there's really something beautiful to it being together because when you pull apart music to lay it back together, I think it just takes something away from like what it is. And
Right.
maybe that's just me because I'm not, in the band making the music, but I just think you can tell the difference when music is made together, you know.
We always just try to get everybody in the studio and uh, get our groove going and lock in and try to catch lightning in a bottle. We're a live band. I mean, that's the studio is not my natural habitat, I guess you would say, because
Sure.
I perform live so much, and so that transcends both the solo recordings and the full band things. It's the same type of deal. You're trying to capture in the studio what takes place naturally in a live environment, you know. So
I think that we talk a lot about tangible experiences and people that we talk about the live show because of just the changes that are occurring within the music industry and how even just being at a show, sometimes you may not appreciate that person's music or really that kind of style of music, but being there while they perform, you can be captivated by a person's music because you're there with them in their because art. You toured through COVID, right?
well, we were shut down for quite a bit of it. But then I think there was I remember we got shut down in March. It was March 18th of 2020 to be exact. The reason I remember that was March 17th was St. Patrick's Day, and we were playing in Spring Branch, Texas, and everything was just beginning to shut down. And the venue we were playing for the St. Patrick's Day show, um, they had got a notice that they were going to tell them to shut down for 1 week. That's what they were saying, and they had told them that they had just made their multi-thousand-dollar liquor order for their St. Patrick's Day party, and so they were having their St. Patrick's Day party. So they told them, okay, you can go ahead, but you have to shut down tomorrow. So we played that St. Patrick's Day show, and then the next day we were supposed to be playing in Austin, and then that's when everything shut down. So that was March 18th of 2020, and from that point on, we were completely shut down for 4 months. And then after 4 months, different states and different counties within the states started opening up under restrictions. But so we got back to playing, but we couldn't do any full band shows. They were all solo acoustic, and the places that we were able to play during that time were all under very heavy restrictions. Um, like you'd have a 500 to 1,000 seat venue that would be allowed to sell 50 tickets,
Yeah.
and you'd have like four or five tables spread out throughout the whole venue, and so you a lot of times we'd have to travel, uh, which we're traveling everywhere across the country anyway, but we would have to travel across sometimes 2 or 3 states that were still shut down to get to a place to where we could work. And but we still managed to to play quite a few shows, but there was 4 months to where we couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's when I wrote the Rain album.
You got a lot of tour dates though. I feel like I mean, you tour consistently. I mean, you knock it out of the park with hitting those numbers on your touring.
Yeah, yeah. We just say always on tour. You
That's,
know,
I mean, it works though, right?
I know. Yeah.
So with all the things that you see changing, and obviously you know, you're years in and you're seeing over all these years, all everything that has just developed, you know, and the business has changed tremendously, obviously, from where you started to where you are now. What do you think is next for the music entertainment industry in general?
Who knows? It's all the goalpost is always moving and it's always changing and it's always going to be and that's good. It has to, Um, and so I just keep doing my thing and keep kicking the can a little further down the road.
Yeah, I I love that when you say that. I think you would kick in the can.
That's
That's
true.
great imagery. Um, what do you give when someone says like I want to grow up and do what you do? What kind of advice do you give them?
Oh, well, just if that's what you're going to do, if that's what you want to do, 'cause a lot of folks choose this as their path, just be true to yourself and do you, and don't do. Um, there's a lot of bad stuff that can lead you down the wrong path, and just kind of try to stay away from that the best you can, and and just always stay true to yourself. And do what you want to do. As far as making your music and or whatever it is you're doing. So pick a horse you like and ride it.
Love that. If you could take one piece of advice that someone gave you throughout your whole career and say, I think this is the gem, this is the diamond in the rough, the most valuable piece of advice someone's ever given me, what do you think it would be?
Oh, that would be when Willie Nelson told me, "Do it for the love, but never be above the money."
There you go. That's great. Do you have any fun Willie stories?
Not too many that I can tell. I do actually. Jody Payne, who was Willie Nelson's longtime guitar player for, I believe, 37 or 38 years, was my godfather. And he became my godfather because he declared himself my godfather. I had been doing several shows with Willie, opening up, a lot of stuff was in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. Um, and I ended up on a show at Fort Lewis Army Base in Tacoma, Washington. And it was me and opening up for Willie Nelson, and Jimmy Dale Gilmore was also on the bill. And so we flew out there, and due to the military being on a military base, everybody had to be eating together for the catering, because of the military protocols, and everything. So there we are, having lunch with Willie and family and everything. And this is just great. And Willie had said, "We are a long way from Kentucky, ain't y'all?" And because he recognized me from the shows back in Kentucky. And Jody Payne said, "Well, where are you actually originally from?" And I said, "Norwood, Ohio." And Jody about dropped his plate of lasagna. Um, he had graduated Norwood High School. He was originally from Kentucky, and he was going to drop out of high school and join the army. And he told his parents if they would move him up to Cincinnati, which Norwood is they call it the city within a city because it's in the middle of Cincinnati. Um, and back in those days, there was a whole lot of factories there. And with that many factories, there was a beer joint on every corner, and every one of them back in those days, had a live country band. And Jody said he would finish high school before he went in the army if they'd move him up to Cincinnati to where he could play guitar at night. So they did that, and he graduated Norwood High School, which is the high school I graduated from, and my mama Majalee graduated from. So fast forward, I got home from that trip, and I told my mom all about it. And she goes, well, what year was it? And I told her, and she says, well, that was my junior year. It would have been his senior year. She goes running upstairs to the attic and comes down with this dusty old yearbook. And we looked him up, and sure enough, there's Jody Payne right in there. And he never got his yearbook he when school's over, he went straight in the army, you know. And she said, do you have any more shows with them coming up? And I said, I do. In 3 weeks, I'm playing a show in Terre Haute, Indiana with Willie Nelson, Leon Russell, and the Amazing Rhythm Aces. And she said, well, here, take this yearbook to Jody. He'll get a kick out of it. She said, I don't need it. It's just been up in the attic in an old trunk, you know. And so 3 weeks go by, and I get out there to Terre Haute, and I do that show, and I gave that yearbook to Jody. And he said, man, Dallas, he said, you're one of those cats that I could call my brother or my son. So I guess I reckon that makes me your godfather. So he declared himself my godfather, and that's what he always was, and still is to this day. And the last album that Jody recorded before he passed away was my live album. Hank to Think recorded it, historic Herzog Studios in Cincinnati, Ohio, on the 61st anniversary of when Hank Williams Sr. recorded in Cincinnati. And Jody had came up from his home in Stapleton, Alabama, and he recorded that album with me. And we were standing in the exact same spot where Hank Williams, 61 years to the day, where Hank Williams had recorded "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry" and "My Bucket's Got a Hole in It" and "Lovesick Blues." And
Guys, I would be doing you a disservice to not tell you about this dope party happening this weekend. On Saturday, Kinsey Six presents the second annual Adult Pajama Party. We're going to have burlesque performances. There are going to be raffles. We're going to have some prizes. There are going to be some awesome local vendors. We're going to have all the sexy pajamas, naughty photo booth fun. We're going to have local music and merch. And it's all going to be at Black Circle. So get your ass to the party on 12/28. And it starts at 7, so don't be late. Only $12 to get in, and we really hope to see you Sponsored there. By Gorgeous Art Photography, Killer Bacon, Selfish Beauty Salon, and Mr. Dabs.
We had a reunion of sorts in that spot while we're making that album. Jody was playing guitar with my band, and my mom Angelique was there, and the three of us got together and we sang "I'm So Lonesome I Could Cry" in that spot where Hank sang it 61 years to the day, and that's on that album. And that was the last album that Jody got to play. So
That's so sweet.
yeah, so that was really awesome. And then and we of course we had anytime we've ever got to do a show with Willie. I hope we get to do some more, you know. But it's been a minute since we've done some shows, but we've done quite a few over the years. But and then all the shows with Jody. But another thing that was really cool that Willie Nelson related story was the great Mickey Raphael played harmonica on my Mr. Honky Tonk album, and so that was just a real highlight, you know. I'm such a fan, you know, and it was just great. But yeah.
Love that. That is so cool. When you were growing up, did you listen to a lot of country music with your parents? Was that kind of what they listened to, or did you kind of find it on your own?
Yeah, when I was a little kid, I was Elvis Presley. And the first record I ever got when I was with my own money from mowing lawns. I think I was 5 or 6 years old, and I cut the grass all around the neighborhood for $5 a pop. The first record I got with my own money was Waylon Jennings' Greatest Hits. My mama had an old Victrola, which I actually have now. I inherited after she passed away. And I had her 78 records that she made with she was on the Midwestern Hayride back in 1952 with our group called the Buckeye Bells, and they had two 78 records. Their hit song was called "Down by the Riverside."
Okay. You
And
perform that on any of your albums?
no, I'm not. No, I've never put it on there.
But thought about it?
No, I'll let that be theirs. It was a all girl trio, and they had that harmony like that. I don't think I'd sound too good doing that. I'll leave that one alone. Imagine.
That out. It's similar to like kind of like Down in the River to Pray, like that harmonized like um
Sort of, yeah. Kind of like some of the old Andrew sisters kind of stuff. Where I got that 3-part harmony kind of weaving in and out. And my mom played the guitar for them. Yeah,
uh,
they were called the Buckeye
oh,
Bells.
what I'm sorry.
They were called the Buckeye Bells.
Nice.
And
Oh,
that was in 1952. But she also, along with her 78s in the old Victrola, she had all of the 78s from Hank Williams, Lefty Frizzell, um, Bill Monroe, Jimmy Martin, Mac Wiseman. But she also had like Frank Sinatra and Dean Martin, and then she would have things like she had all this classical music, and I remember like which. I remember the Tchaikovsky piece, the William Tell Overture, because I thought that was just great when I was a little kid because it was a theme song from the Lone Ranger, you know. So I listened to a lot of music that way, as
mhm.
well, and everything.
I did the same when I feel like I was younger because that's how um we you typically if your parents you get like they either liked country or they didn't, and mine was kind of different because like my dad's side of the family they were all like southern and they really liked country, and then my mom's side they were here and more northern and they kind of were more rock and roll, so I got like I have Mama Tried on the back of my legs because
Yeah,
but
there you go.
that's which I think is funnier even though because she didn't like country music. But do you have siblings?
Yes, I have one sister, my sister Brenda.
Is she musical too?
No,
No.
no, no, she didn't play, and my dad didn't either. Just my mom, Mom Angelique. She was the only one. Yeah.
That's still really cool though. Were you close with your family growing up?
Oh yeah, yeah, very much so. Yeah.
I like still a very southern thing to like stay very close with your family as you go into your
Yeah.
have any songs that you've written about like your siblings or about your parents?
I've got a few about my parents in there, and we talk about family in quite a few different songs. And I got to record one album with my mama, Major. It was the only record we got to record together, and it was all old time bluegrass, Appalachian, and gospel songs, and it was called Old Time Family Jam. And she played her mountain dulcimer and clawhammer banjo, and I played guitar, banjo, bass, and mandolin, and it was just the two of us on the album. And it's been out of print for a while, but I think we're going to re-release it here sometime in the near future.
Yeah, that would be really cool. You should definitely do that. What all
Cool.
instruments do you play?
Um,
What all instruments do you play?
I really just guitar, but I can kind of woodshed enough on another on the rest to get around. A little bit of mandolin, a little bit of banjo, bass, piano, whatever.
When you first started playing instruments, did you plan on doing vocals, or did that come later?
It just kind of all started at the first time when we first started out. Nobody in the band could sing, but I could remember the words. So that's kind of how that happened. I was the one that wrote the songs, so that's kind of how that happened.
That's fair. I have a friend that always says we don't need to know the lyrics. We have Amanda. What let's see. If tomorrow the music industry were to bottom out and music just didn't exist anymore or your career were just over, what would you really want people to like what would you want your name to be synonymous with, or what would you want people to think of when they thought of Dallas Moore?
That we made a bunch of good songs and took the country to the people. Made a lot of friends along the way, and we had a damn good time.
And remind us one more time when we can see you and where.
I'm going to be in Indianapolis, Indiana, at the Checkered Flag Tavern, the 5-star dive bar on New Year's Eve, 9 o'clock, and we'll be doing the ball drop, and it's a free show, so we'll invite everybody out. We'll be
Awesome.
coming
Well,
back up. I think I'm playing on the 27th and 28th back in Texas, and we'll be coming up from Texas to ring in the new year in Indianapolis.
awesome. Are you going to be coming to Indy any other times other than that in the next few months?
Uh, well, next year that'll be the next time we'll be there. And we usually play Indy at least 2 or 3 times a year.
Awesome. But if they like you this year at Checkered Flag, they can probably expect to see you next year.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yes.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me and answer all my little silly questions
Oh, I appreciate it. Thank you.
with you. And I'm excited to come and check you out at the
All
Checkered.
right, come on down. Make like the price is right. Come on down.
Thank you so much. It was nice
All
to
right, we see you.
meet
Adios.
you. Bye.